What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to another Mets PostGame Show right here on the channel and on X. And another win by our New York Mets. Another series win for the New York Mets. And the Mets are now 10 games over 500, 17-7 on the season with a very stellar victory right now for the New York Mets. And listen, we broke Devin Williams, we broke the Braves, and we broke the Philadelphia Phillies. They've played horrible. They can't get the big hits. The Mets have just outplayed them completely. And it's not like the Phillies didn't have chances. They had 8 hits in the game. They had numerous chances. But once again, look, the Mets offense still isn't at its peak yet, and they're just getting the right hits at the right time. We got Lindor, Alonso, Vientos. Alonso was the insurance run. With the Vientos and Lindor, Torrens putting the icing on the cake with that 2-run signal, making it 5-1. All around, the New York Mets have just found ways to win. Greg, it is a long season, but man, oh man, the Mets aren't even playing that great offensively, and they're 10 games over 500. Like, that's the scary part. And this is not being obnoxious. It's just looking at what we're seeing. The pitching has been outstanding. Hasn't even been good. It's been great. It's the best in the league. And who knows if it's going to stay that way. But even if it doesn't stay that way, the offense is still probably 2 levels to where they should be. And that is the most important thing that I think we all got to talk about. But today's game, man, what about Griffin Cannon, right? 5 innings, 7. Now, he gave up a good amount of hits, but when he needed that big out, when he needed that big strikeout, he got it. And Griffin Cannon, once again, got out of jams that he put himself in and got the job done. 7 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, which is big for Griffin Cannon, and 5 strikeouts. Very, very complimentary, very, very good for Griffin Cannon. All around, the New York Mets have just been that good. They just have been that good. They've been finding any which way to win. Even when they're still batting under 200 with runners on base, under 200 with runners in scoring position, they still get big hits within a game that eventually make them win a ball game. I mean, this was no contest. This was a 5-1 victory. Like, this was a ho-hum victory, right? It was close. It was close. All of a sudden, knock here, knock there, and it's 5-1. Alonso gave it the 3-1 lead. Then Torrens gave the 2-run single, 5-1. And Ray, good defense. What a play by Tyrone Taylor. I don't know what the hell Schwarber was doing. Probably worrying about his dinner reservation in New York somewhere. But what a play by Tyrone Taylor. Not taking anything for granted. Got there, throwing the ball in quick, and nice play by Pete Alonso staying with the ball because that was an easy play. And boom, double play, and it kind of messed up the Phillies inning. It felt like the momentum started to kick a little bit in the Phillies' favor in that inning, and right there, dead, right in its tracks. And again, we continue to talk about the Mets pitching, but we absolutely have to. Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper were red freaking hot for the Philadelphia Phillies. This was a lineup that was coming in, that was playing well. Harper and Schwarber were as hot can be, and the Mets have thrown cold water on both of them. They've looked terrible at the plate, both of them. You know, Bryson Stott has been the best player on the Phillies team the last 2 games of the series, getting a big home run yesterday to get the game closer, and today with a couple of hits. He's been a real pest for the Philadelphia Phillies against the New York Mets. But when you lock down Harper, lock down Schwarber, Phillies have a hard time trying to score some runs there, isn't it? It's not easy. You know, when they got to rely on Bohm and Rojas and, Real Muto, who, isn't the same player he was a couple of years ago, but still a very good player. It's not easy to score runs. And this is what the Mets have to do again and again and again. They're making the right play. They're making smart. They're making the smart decisions on the field and defensively. This is why you need a defensive-minded center fielder, right? This is why the Mets got Jose Siri. This is why they brought in Tyrone Taylor last year, because you need defense up the middle. You need really good defense up the middle. Starts with Lindor. Now it's Tyrone Taylor. Last year was Harrison Bader. The defense is so important because it's plays like that that stops rallies, that wins you games. And the Mets are limiting. They make a couple of mistakes here and now, but they have been limiting the mistakes throughout this season, and they haven't hurt themselves for the most part defensively, and that is key. The big pick by Alonso earlier in the game where that was a terrible throw, and he scooped that ball, no issue, boom, made a great play, got out of that inning. Little things like that win your ball games, man, and that's exactly what you want to see, a well-rounded team. You want to see fundamentals. Fundamentals can win you a good amount of games. Obviously, there's some spectacular plays, some clutch hitting, but when you play fundamental baseball, it's easier to win games. This was a fundamentally sound game for the New York Mets. The Phillies made mistakes. They made base running mistakes. They made a throw-in error that eventually cost them a run as well. They haven't got the clutch hit, and they're pitching. The bullpen was good today, but they're pitching all right. The bullpen, kind of messed them up yesterday. The bullpen was good today, but I know Sanchez was out of the game because of forearm discomfort. But you still were able to get the starter out of the ball game, and they had, even though the bullpen was very good for the most part for the Phillies, but you had to look at all the guys they had to use. Now they got Zach Wheeler on the mound tomorrow, who's the ace of their staff. Now, what you want to do is try to get to their bullpen again, because they used a ton of bullpen over the last 2 nights, and that is what you want to do against the Phillies. They're probably less, the weakness on their team is their bullpen. They got a good starting staff, and their lineup, which the Mets have for the most part controlled until the 9th inning yesterday, they've calmed them down. They cooled them down 100%, and this is exactly what they got to continue to do over and over again, because once again, the offense is still not there yet. And the best part about this team is that you're confident somebody's going to come through. Who it might be Terrence tonight. You're not shocked. It was Nimmo the other day getting the base hit up the middle. It was Vientos getting the first run of the ball game. It was, again, it was Alonso once again. All over the place, you've seen what this team can do. The Mets are going for the sweep tomorrow against the Philadelphia Phillies, and we said this against the Cardinals. Step on their throats. Don't give them any room to breathe. Don't give them any momentum. Get them to 1 game under 500. We're already 4 games up in the division. It's very early in the season. So, games back, games ahead is, you're not going to ride home with it and say, oh, the NL East is over. No. But I'd rather be 4 games up than 4+ games down. And this is a good start. This is the best start, again, since 2015. This is the best start, at home in a long time. They're 11-1 at home. It's insane how good they've been. And we got to continue to keep this momentum going here. 6 in a row for the New York Mets, going for 7 in a row tomorrow. It's not going to be easy tomorrow. Zach Wheeler on the mound. Again, when a team is about to get swept, they become a desperate team. The Phillies are a good team, but they're going to be a desperate team tomorrow. So they're going to do everything they can to win this game tomorrow. And they got their best pitcher on the mound. So it won't be easy. A day game, you got David Peterson on the mound for the Mets. We'll see, what that can do when it comes to Stott, Harper, and Schwarber. Peterson can control the lefties, we hope. That's what you're hoping for. But again, if you could control Harper and Schwarber, they have a hard time scoring runs. Stott is a pain in the ass. He's been a pain in the ass in this series. But it was a little too late for the Philadelphia Phillies at that point. But control those 2 guys, and the Phillies have a hard time scoring runs. And that's what you got to continue to do with the Phillies. And this is how you sweep a team. Go 7-0 on this homestand. You would lose 1 game at home in the first 2 homestands of the year. And you be 7 in a row. Then you go on the road. You get a day off. You get to relax a little bit. We get to decompress. And then we head to Washington for 4 games. And that's another series you better win. And over again. It's just so like it's hard to nitpick. There's issues. We all know that, right? Juan Soto is an issue. Diaz is an issue, but Juan Soto didn't hurt us today. I mean, there's a couple of times where it's like, God damn, come on, Juan, let's go. Diaz made it interesting yesterday. So are those concerning? Yeah. But again, Alonso's picking them up. Lindor's picking them up. Vientos picking them up. Torrens is picking them up. And you know what? That's what a team's supposed to do. When you're successful like this and 10 games over 500, it's not just one player. This has been an entire 26-man roster season so far. Everybody has come up big for this team at some point this season. Even Juan Soto once or twice out of the first 24 games of the season. But this is how you go on extended winning streaks. This is the Mets' second 6-game winning streak of the season in just 24 games. So basically half their games, they've had winning streaks already. So that is a great sign. And I said this beginning of the year, the New York Mets got to take full advantage of a weaker schedule in the month of April. I don't care who you play, right? The Phillies are going to have an easier month sometime this year. The Braves will. The Mets, luckily, have been getting April as their weakest strength of schedule, which, again, everybody has that month. We got it first, great for us, but you got to take full advantage of it, because when you get into the harder months, which is June, and May is a tough month, but June is the toughest month, you got to pick up all the wins you can at this point. So when you get into the tougher months, if you go 500 in a month, which ain't the worst thing in the world, or a couple games under, it's not going to completely tear you down record-wise, and you probably have a good control of the division at that point so far. That's exactly what you got to do. We got Chris in the chat right now. They were spamming those W's early. Let's spam them again, guys, for Chris in the chat right now. He's doing his thing, working hard, obviously, traveling all over the place. So that's why he can't be with us, but he'd love to be here right now. We know he's going to spam those W's all over the place. And it's just amazing. Unfortunately, it can't be a long post game because I got work in about 36 minutes. But that's okay. I told you I was going to do a post game, and that's what we're going to do. Let's see. Let me check the chat really quick, guys. Let's see. Sanders, I won't say that. The team isn't going to catch the NL East. Not fair to the Phillies and still not fair to the Braves, right? Until the Mets actually take over the NL East, they haven't yet. All right. It's been the Braves and the Phillies for a good number of years. So, you still got to give the respect to those two teams because, again, the Phillies won a division last year. The Braves a couple of years ago. Their teams, yes, we beat Phillies in the playoffs. We beat the Braves in the last couple of games, second to last game of the year to make the playoffs. Not yet. It's way too early for that, but it's a great sign. Let's see. Yeah, it is a 1:10 start tomorrow. So I just want to let you know, guys, for the pregame tomorrow, I'll probably be doing it from my car after work because I'd be working until like 12:30. So I set the pregame at like 12:45. So I'm going to run out of work, get in my car, and I'm going to do the pregame from the car. I'm not sure if I'm going to be driving and doing it because that might be a little dangerous, and I'm not really good on these roads yet. I'm not really knowing the area very well yet. So, but still, we're going to do a quick pregame tomorrow for the finale of the series. Hopefully the Mets going for the sweep, and we'll preview the game tomorrow and, preview, the series as a whole so far. And there'll definitely be a post game tomorrow whenever that game is over. So Mets win 5-1. Big hit by Torrens, big hit by Alonso. Vientos came through. Lindor came through. It's just perfect. I mean, Torrens has been a godsend for us. We're always going to thank the Yankees for giving them to us for $100,000. I know Hal Steinbrenner really needed that money and still couldn't get Soto with that, but that's okay. So, sorry, I had to give a little jab in there. But overall, nice performance. Griffin Cannon, 5 innings, 7 hits. When he needed to get a strikeout, when he needed to get a big out, he got it. Even though he got into trouble a couple of times, giving up 7 hits. But when he needed the big pitch, needed the big out, needed the big strikeout, he was able to get it, guys. Tomorrow's game is at 1:10. David Peterson, Zach Wheeler on the mound, a very good matchup. one lefty, one righty on the mound. Obviously, the former Met. Zach Wheeler has the Mets number for a long time now. And, he's pitched extremely well against us. Let's change that. We're going for the sweep tomorrow against the Philadelphia Phillies. The New York Mets, best record in baseball, 17-7, 10 games over 500, 4 games up in the division, and going for the sweep of the goddamn Phillies, guys. I want to thank you guys for watching. Enjoy the rest of your night. Get some sleep. Enjoy a little bit of Mets highlights before you go to sleep. And I'll see you tomorrow in the car for pregame, and then the postgame right after the game, guys, hopefully talking about a sweep of the Philadelphia Phillies and a sweep of the homestand. Have a good night, guys. Let's go Mets, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Meet the Mets, meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the Mets are really socking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the Mets Mets of New York town. Oh, the butcher and the baker and the people